living it up. We're living that good life. We're living with Jimmy B. We're living it up. We're living that good life. We're living it with Jimmy B.
I have my smoked beef fat, and I trimmed it from a beef tenderloin, smoked it on the grill, cool smoked it, and I rendered it in vegetable oil. For a more robust flavor, I added butter and anchovies. At this stage, I added about 3 garlic cloves. I added about 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil. I set aside about 1/4 cup of my mixture in order to make a roux with it. I have sandwich steak that I've chopped into strips. It came thinly sliced, ready to make sandwiches, and I just diced it into strips. It's a lean cut. I believe it's London broil, so I did add some of my oil mixture to it just to make sure it had enough fat. There's nothing worse than dry steak. Somebody say, ow. I'm ready to make my roux. I started with 3 heaping tablespoons of flour. And I'm just going to saute my contents just until it comes to a nice golden color, a caramel color. And the butter actually helps with this browning process. I also want to make sure that any of my bits of anchovy are completely dissolved. And my half milk and half cream is just going to sop up all of that roux. And I'm just going to continue to add my half and half until I get to the consistency that I want. Meanwhile, I'll continue seasoning my roux. In my last video, I got rid of the bark off of the Gouda because it didn't have any flavor. This particular brand had a lot of flavor to the bark, but I still got rid of it because I didn't want those dark specks in my roux. I added about a quarter cup of Gouda. And you want to add your ingredients gradually, tasting as you go along, because it's easier to add than it is to take away. Now it's time to saute my bell peppers and onions. More garlic, and more garlic. I likes me some garlic. About 3 cloves more of garlic. And I want to just save some of this to drizzle over my pizza before I cook it. I'm looking to just simply sweat my bell peppers and onions out, which basically means I want to get rid of the moisture. I'm also taking into account that they'll cook a little bit further once I go on to my next step. What I have here is pizza dough that I picked up from my local bakery. You'll usually find that you can buy it at your local bakery for about $1.50. I paid about $1.50 for this, and it makes a whole pan. And for me, it saves time, and it's not expensive to make, and it's just more economical just to pick it up and buy it, even though I can make it from scratch. If you notice, I'm stretching the dough, but I'm not actually rolling it with a rolling pin. I prefer not to flatten my dough because I find that that makes it more dense, and I like a nice flaky crust, a crust that is not as dense. And the way that I achieve that is by not rolling it with the rolling pin. I'm coating the bottom of my cookie sheet with my seasoned olive oil. And the reason I'm doing that is because what happens is when your oven heats up, it creates a nice sear on the bottom of your crust, giving it a really nice texture on the bottom that I particularly like. Adding cornmeal, fine cornmeal, to the bottom of your pan actually adds to this crust that you want to create. have my marinated steak, and I don't find it necessary to cook the steak. They're in small enough, thin enough pieces where for the 20 minutes they'll be cooking at 425 degrees Fahrenheit. That'll cook them well enough. Otherwise, if you cook them before you actually put them on the steak, they'll be dry by the time they get done. So you don't want to do that, in my opinion.